Hello, everyone. This is our first podcast with William Bates and
Ollie.
cool. Um, and I'm doing this for Mrs. S class for our project due Sunday, so I need to get this done. So, my topic for today, I was gonna get done real fast because this podcast might be longer than Miss S would like to watch. So I'll get my topic done first, and then if you like the rest of it, you can continue. So, my discussion topic for today is specifically on anti vaxxers. Sorry, Mom. And how they're not right. They're very wrong, right? they're,
Definitely,
they're
yeah.
very wrong. Well, I wanted to talk specifically today about anti vaxxers, specifically on the sense of why they believe in why vaccines are so bad, when in fact they have saved millions of lives, have wiped out most diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries, and are super researched by scientists and the science community to be as safe as possible. Yet anti vaxxers find ways to complain about them. Well, my dad, who was not as much of a crazy anti-vaxxer as my mom, love her to death, but geez, um, he brought up an interesting point when I was discussing with him about anti-vaxxers, and he was talking about a certain situation in Europe that got really bad with vaccines. So I need to set the stage kind of here because the timing is very important for this whole situation. So the year is 2009, and the swine flu is everywhere. It is crazy. People are losing their minds about the swine flu. People are like going crazy. I don't know how else to describe how crazy it was. So, being desperate, the government hired a company that makes vaccines to produce a vaccine for the swine flu. It was obviously rushed because it came out in the space of the same year the swine flu started up. So it was obviously rushed. And a very important note to this is America and Europe have two different companies of making vaccines. And thus, they have two completely different vaccines made of different ingredients, different ways of how they attack potential viruses. So in America, the swine flu vaccine came out and there was not any problems. Maybe some reported, but nothing serious. In Europe, however, it was so rushed to get out so that people would stop losing their mind about the swine flu that they passed or skipped over, I should say, very important testing. Like very important testing that they just skipped over because they wanted to push this out. Well, after the vaccine was administered to the public, a lot of reports started coming in of symptoms, I say with air quotes, from the vaccine, where over 1,000 people in the UK alone, after having the vaccine, were actually diagnosed with narcolepsy, which isn't fun. It caused a lot of people to lose their job, ended their career, and and over 1,000 people were affected with narcolepsy from this one vaccine, and it was devastating for the medical community in Europe specifically. Well, afterwards they passed different laws. They become much more strict, and nothing on that scale has ever happened again. Hey, I had to start over a bit here. Forgot a very important name for the project, so we took a little bit of an intermission here. So, Jenna McCarthy was recently very much on the news because she started the entire revolution of anti-vaxxers. If you don't know who Jenna McCarthy is, she is a Playboy nude model and for some reason an expert on vaccines. Well, she claimed that vaccines caused autism, and many of her followers believe her, including my mother. And luckily, with a lot of research, it's been found that vaccines actually do not cause autism. So that makes no sense at all. And as, of course, most of everyone knows, the research that came out that was fraudulent by anti-vaxxers who paid thousands of dollars to have a research done to prove that vaccines cause autism. Well, one, it blew up in their face, proving it was completely false. And also, in the case study, the 600 kids chosen already had autism before they were, subject to the research. And so the credibility of the whole anti-vaxxers movement is basically non-existent. There's no credibility at all.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. You have anything you want to say?
I mean, not really. You've pretty much covered it.
I pretty much covered it.
Yeah, there's not really much more to say. They don't really have any viable evidence to support anything, so it's more of just kind of childish rambling.
Yeah, I noticed these things a lot like the flat Earth, where just some people don't understand how things work, and so they make something up to prove it, or they pretend something is dangerous, like vaccines. I get it. It's weird to have something that you take a shot of some random liquid and you might be spooked by that, but honestly, it's been in the works for like over a century. Like, this has been used since the Civil War for vaccines. So there's nothing to be worried about. I would say, however, there are some useless vaccines.
Definitely.
I remember apparently my sister, the doctors told her to get a vaccine that would prevent ovary cancer, and apparently it was a vaccine for research. They didn't really know what it was going to do, but they just said that. Of course, she said no because they were going to charge her like $500 for it, for a chance of not even work. So there are vaccines that I think are not needed, but others like measles and smallpox, and especially the flu vaccine, those are like mandatory.
Yeah, well, and I'd definitely say that it'd be far more worth our while to look into research of changing ovary cancer while a baby is in the womb, and doing things like that. The plan with genetic changing while babies have not been born yet, I feel like that would be something better to put our time and research into than like, hey, yeah, these vaccines are bad and I'm gonna waste my time making one for ovary cancer specifically.
Yeah. Also, herd immunity is really important, because personally I'm allergic to I believe it's the measles vaccine. And I'm allergic to penicillin too, so I'm extra in trouble. And so the fact that a lot of people around me can't get sick with measles means I'm less likely to get sick with measles.
Yeah.
But recently there was actually a measles outbreak in Atlanta, and I didn't go to Atlanta because of that, and it would have been real bad for me if I went, because I'm not protected against measles.
Also, I believe there's a really bad one in New York too, isn't there?
I haven't heard of that, but I believe